Hello, welcome to your reading. So today we're doing a reading of truth. This came through as pure truth. So I'm going to say this is something that you need to hear right now. I just didn't want to make it too clickbaity. It's like, you must watch this, that kind of thing. If you've clicked on it, you've clicked on it. So this is going to be a message for you of pure truth, or from the essence of pure truth, if you want to see it like that. That doesn't mean you can't use your intuition and take what resonates and leave what doesn't. This is still a collective pick a pile. So with that, we'll get straight into it. Spirit's feeling kind of fiery today. Maybe even today or whenever you're watching this, you've felt some kind of like erratic energy. Because fire burns fast and dies quick, right? So maybe that means something as to why you're watching this today. But let's take a look and see which piles are going to be represented by what cards. Okay. It's interesting because there were a few different readings mulling through my mind of what was going to be the what do you call it? The kind of like the right reading for today, the right subject topic. And this was not even one of them, and it just popped up just when I was about to like decide what is going to be the reading basis or the reading subject. Trying to get that out of the light. Okay, we'll put it like quite far away from each other just so there's no like light shining on the cards. But let's take a look at pile 1. It's a bit blurry. I'll try to adjust the camera a bit. See. Oh yeah, it's out. Well, it's a little bit odd looking. Okay, I think that's okay. It's hard with this camera, it's not always the best, but we'll make do. Alright, so for pile number 1, you have the Amethyst card with spiritual insight, creativity, psychic protection, and courage. For pile 2, you have the blue lace agate with kindness, good communication, peaceful outcomes, love, and marriage. And pile number 3, you have the Labradorite with shamanic journeying, brave, magical powers, and higher awareness. Right, so these will be your 3 piles. Pick whichever one's calling to you. Down in the description, I'll leave the timestamps, but we're going to give you probably a couple more minutes, or maybe like less than that, obviously, but maybe like 10 seconds to pick. So if you need more time, pause the video. But otherwise, I will catch you in your reading. Welcome to your reading pile number 1. You've chosen the beautiful Amethyst with spiritual insight, creativity, psychic protection, and courage. I feel like Amethyst is like such a interesting crystal, right? Touches in with the colors of the crown chakra, which is, the information, the opening to gain information or insight into realms that we don't normally have direct physical access to, right? So this is your message of pure truth. I have no idea from this one card what this is going to be about. The protection part was popping up quite strongly. with the Amethyst. However, that was it. And it's like, from what? For what? About what? You know, I'm not too sure. We'll have to pick some cards and then go through it. So we'll see what comes through for you. I'm also listening to, strangely, I'm listening to a whole bunch of New Zealand music. I'm originally from New Zealand, living in Australia now. It's just taking me back to the 90s, basically. Back in the day. The song playing now, I don't even know if this is a New Zealand band, but it's like, it's a mix of music, but a lot of them are New Zealand songs. Anyway, it's called Steal My Sunshine by Len. It's a really cool song. Okay, I think I'm gonna grab these in a sec. I think I've pulled way too many cards, which is fine. You know, it's gonna be fine, but I'm just like, I've got these cards, which are small, and then luckily I've picked the tiny little tarot cards, so maybe I'll put tarot down here and the round circles up here. These are just the mini version of the light seers. Okay, anyway, this is a message for you from pure, or for, it just wanted to come through as pure truth. Excuse me. Oops. So you have develop stronger concentration. Interesting. It says, I think it says transmutation, but it's got a C here, something else. Could be transmutation, or it could be just like, they have a lot of Latin words in here. And it's got, it looks like purification, but it's kind of cut off. Purificto. It looks like purification and transmutation to me anyway. Interesting here, because this image of this person is kind of deep, right? It looks very, very deep into what they are intending to do and change. I feel like with this energy of truth, especially with the amethyst, it's talking about spiritual insight, which makes me always think of the crown chakra. This is like taking things very, very seriously. And this doesn't have to be a specifically spiritual specific thing. However, whatever you are wanting to get out of your life and whatever you're wanting to bring into your life, if you really want it, this is going to take effort, work, manifestation, focus, not just like set and forget. This is going to take actual effort on your part. So really interesting here coming through with that. But it's all possible and you're capable of it, right? It's not like you try really hard and you're not going to get it. This is like, you can get this. It's going to take time. It's going to take effort. If it's like a partner or something like that, this is learning to love yourself, relieving yourself of all the bullshit you're holding on to. Like, it's really, really deep into that, which is why it's going to take courage, right? You pick the one with courage. This is going to take actual effort instead of, I asked for this and I haven't got it yet, and kind of like, but it's like you've been given all the opportunities to let this be opened, the path be opened for you to get to the particular place. It's almost like you want to do all these things, then you can do them. But you can't just sit around waiting for it to somehow just happen, right? That's kind of like the energy. That's why I said this is going to be fiery. You know, I'm trying to take it as cleanly as possible and translate it as pure as possible. So I'm not kind of like sugarcoating it today. You've got worry. It says the illusion of control. So interesting with that card coming through with literally what I just said. the illusion of control. The control is the things that we don't have control over, right? So you do have control over how you respond, how you act, what you say, what you do, all those kind of things. You have no control over what someone else is going to do, what someone else is going to say, what someone else is going to act like, all that kind of stuff. You have no control over certain things. If you're really trying to will someone to kind of like, you know, if there's someone in your life that you really want to have a relationship with or something like that, I'm just using relationship as an example. If you're not interested in connection, relationships, love, that kind of romantic love, right? That kind of side of it, then, you know, see this as like just an example. But if it is a relationship or anything like that, can't force anyone into like caring for you, loving you, right? There's kind of like ways people have kind of like snuck it in, let's just say. And sure, maybe that led to some kind of like win in back in the day, like with a, you know, if you've watched like Game of Thrones, where Olenna Tyrell kind of went into the bedroom of one of the kings, right? I think even though the king was supposed to get with her sister or something like that, she forced herself into that kind of position and she got it, right? She was able to secure her spot because that's what she wanted to do. She was like taking control of what could be gained. And it's kind of like you can actually make those decisions, but if you want them to turn into something that's actually like that move was for power, right? And if that was important, then that was the right move for her. If you're looking for like strong connections, you can't force those kind of strong connections. You've got to see things as like really what they are. If someone's showing you a hand of what is on offer and you don't like that hand, you can't tell them to come back with a better hand, right? You can either say yes or no, and that's it. Basically, they're offering what they can offer at that time. So there may be a time of patience and waiting. You can't force that kind of thing through. But what I was talking about back here with the concentration is really knowing and working on the things within, especially that need to be cleared and moved so you can be free and open to the new energy coming in. Hopefully that makes sense. I know it's kind of like contradictory, maybe seen like, but you said I can force something, but this one's saying I can't. And it's like, not at all. This one is saying you can't control things you can't control. This one here is saying you need to concentrate on the things that you actually want to bring in and understand why you want to bring those things in. So you've got separation, reconnecting to your center. This is the whole point. This concentration is like, and coming into like the reconnecting with yourself is to really understand. Sometimes we get caught up in the external, right? We really want this guy, girl, whatever. And we're like kind of like not pursuing because that sounds creepy, but just like really making an effort, right, to show our great best side, try to like date, flirt, whatever. But if someone's not interested, you know, it's like that old saying or whatever. It's like he's just not that into you, right? And it's like accepting that. I can't remember what that was from. I think it was like a book. I don't even know if it was a good book, but it was just remember it on, I don't know, something like Oprah or something like that back in the day. So, you know, if someone isn't really showing interest and you think, oh, maybe they're just like this, that, or the other, then take it as like a very clear sign that they're not. Or a very clear sign to get clarity, right? And have a conversation. If they don't want to talk about it, I think that's your sign. I don't really care if they have like some kind of like issue or like not really issue, that sounds kind of heartless, but like if they have like other baggage or things they need to deal with, that's a clear sign as well that they need to deal with that kind of stuff first before they're ready to open up into a connection. I know I'm focusing heavily on relationships, but you can turn this into a job or something like that. Like, you know, if a business isn't giving you what you want and you've been asking for it and trying to do it and it's still not happening, I would say that's a very clear sign that they just don't care. They're not really invested. And it might be just talk because you're really good at doing what you do. And sometimes when you're really good at what you do, they'll promote someone's trash to like, you know, get them out of the way and then put them into a position or whatever. And you don't have to put up with that. You're not there to just stick around and deal with that. So yeah, up to you, of course, but you're like getting back to the purpose of this reading, reconnecting to your center, reconnecting with yourself, getting back in touch with who you are, why you want certain things, and understanding what is the point of doing what you do. Once you can answer that, that's when you'll find a deeper meaning of why you want certain things. If it turns into like with a relationship thing, you just want love, right? That's what it was. Where do you have that in your life now? Where do you support and love yourself in the moment? You know, that's where it is. This is like, I guess this reading is like, here's a message, you do the homework type thing. This isn't like, here's your message, I can just set and forget it. I was watching and looking at some of the comments on a different video because I like to watch, you know, other videos and stuff, card readings, and it was all this lovely stuff, right? It was like, you're getting this, everything, this clearing, this is going away, and then you're going to get this reward. And I read one comment and it was like, none of these things ever happen, but I really like the messages. And I'm like, that's really nice to get that uplifting, feel good like message, right? But it's almost like that's not true. It's just a nice story, I guess, right? And it's not like the readings are bad. That was just that one person's take. I take the readings as like, you know, to be able to get the things I want, I need to deal with the things that are coming up in this reading. So it makes sense to me. But I guess this reading isn't going to sugarcoat it in a way. Oh my gosh. Does anyone remember the Ting Tings? And it's like, that's not my name. Such an annoying song, even when I was a kid. Anyway, that's playing. So you've got solitude. Yeah, it's time to go within in a healthy way. So this kind of solitude is absolutely fine. It's kind of like the Hermit card. This kind of solitude is when it's like, is it time to get out of Hermit mode because you're starting to isolate now and you're like becoming comfortable in the dark, right? This one though is meaningful and understanding. This is your whole reading is really going within. Understanding why you want what you want, why it's important, where does it come from? Because if you get into the like, I just want this, is that too much to ask? That's victim mode. If you want that kind of thing, you're not asking for too much, right? But there's no point getting into victim mode of like, what was me? It's like, really, if I can flesh this out, understand it, where do these root causes come from of why I want this? Is this something that I actually want? Is this something that is actually important to me? Is this just for show? Like, what is it? Is it because I want this love, this happiness, this peace? Perfect, you know, whatever it is, it's got to be your reality and you got to be like, the truth is like the realness with self is how it's coming through. Yeah. The protecting treasure, it's kind of interesting with it reversed and like upright and reverse, right? She's kind of like here, she's almost like a dragon in a sense. You know how dragons hoard their stuff? It's kind of like the fear of losing something or missing out on something or like something like that. But the thing is, she's actually losing out. She is missing out because she's so fearful of letting go of what she's got. It's like, but what if I lose it? What if someone comes and takes it away or abuses it, right? What if someone does that? And it's like, can't control what other people are going to do, right? You just need to like, if it's that important, if it's so important that you need to go into like a catacombs and lock it away and then stand guard because it's that important to you and to the planet, let's say, then that's what you're there to do. But like, this doesn't feel like that kind of like Indiana Jones type seriousness, even though that is probably not the best example, right? It's kind of comedy, but comedy action. But this one is like, what are you protecting? What are you hiding away that is part of you? What are you holding on to that doesn't need to be there? What are you valuing that's not valuing you back, right? That kind of thing. So it is a lot of deep introspective time of, I guess, thinking, connecting, understanding, and yeah, getting the truth is like coming out of you. Like it's like, this is how this message is like, this is what we're talking about or what needs to be looked at, and you're the one doing the, okay, I'm going to actually figure out why I'm so obsessed with this person, obsessed with getting this higher career, with getting all these A's at school. Like, it all sounds really good, right? Moving up, getting a partner, getting high marks at school or whatever. Those are all great things. But if it's taking away from your life, if it's like keeping you away from this, if it's getting you into fear of losing or missing out on something, then where does that come from? Why is it so intense? That's, I guess, your homework. I don't want to give people homework, but that's just how it's coming through. It's like, it's your job to figure this out, basically. And this reading is here to help you. Well, interesting. Uranus coming through, revolution, invention, and electricity. Yeah, this is the spark. It's kind of like the fire under your ass type energy. That's kind of how it's coming through. Although the revolution, I think, is the whole point, right? Uranus is kind of eccentric, spontaneous. I think it's currently in Taurus. I'm not too sure. Which is very stable, and so it's like, you know what I mean? It's like someone who's hyperactive being told to kind of like sit down. It's tough, right? So it's agitated, and so this could even affect things that like this reading could be agitating to your creature comforts. You might have already clicked off. Some people might have already clicked off, which is fair enough, right? It is it's coming from pure truth. It's not coming to hurt you or harm you. It's just like, this is the reading that is coming through. Let's see. You also have focus, conceptualization, and strategy, and I think that came through pretty here. Stronger concentration, right? It's tough, especially if you suffer from, or like, I don't know if it suffers the right word, so don't at me if that sounds bad, but I mean it like if it's, what's the right way of saying it? I guess if you're impacted by something like ADHD or ADD, right? Those kind of situations, then it's tough to do this, but it's like, even then, you're being kind of like guided to still go within. Do it in a way that is healthy for you, right? I don't want you to blow a fuse, especially with the electricity. I don't want you to short circuit. But yeah, this will help at least give you some time to breathe. Like for different people, it might be different neurodivergency, right? It might be actually to go out and just explore and just to run around, right? Burn off some energy, maybe. I have no idea. Do this in a way that is right for you, not what is right for the majority of people. It's like, how is this going to be good for you to go within and understand and figure this stuff out? Okay. I feel like my mouth is moving way too fast. So I'll chill. I've got the storm. Yeah, look at that with electricity right next to Uranus, the storm. This is like to really shake shit up within you. This could really be touching into your creature comforts, the things that keep you kind of satisfied and I was going to say sedated, but not really sedated. Sated, I guess? I don't know. But the storm shakes things up, right? The storm sparks fires in forests and brings loud noises, basically, which scares animals and pets and stuff like that, right? So it's like scary, but it also supplies nitrogen. Like lightning strikes actually provide nitrogen, I'm pretty sure, into the soil. I could be making this up, but I'm pretty sure that like lightning strikes actually provide some kind of like mineral into the soil, into the ground when it's struck. Like it's also adding things. It's also, you know, testing foundations, right? Houses and stuff like that of like what's rattling, what needs to be like looked at, what needs to be secured. So yeah, interesting. Okay, I'm gonna take this one. Got the underworld. Yeah, you're going deep within. This might actually pick up on some shadows and stuff. I would say take your time with this. There's no need to rush and to cause any pain, right? This is just like a really good time to go deep within. The worry is not going to help you. Some things you don't have control over, right? If you want to keep your mind more peaceful and calm, try to like limit yourself. Be what is the word? Be strong with yourself, I guess. Disciplined is probably the right word, to stay off the news, stay off toxic sites, maybe to watch less TikToks and stuff like that, right? Or at least give yourself some time here, there, or the other. There's like a need for the balance of it all. There's a need for a balance. Which is why it's like the concentration, it gets you in your mind and body and very, very in the now. When I'm doing these readings, I'm very much in the now, more so than any other time in my day. When I'm doing my, I guess you would say spiritual practices. Okay. You've got the Devil card coming through. Cutting the puppet strings. Oof, this is quite a lot, right? This is quite a lot. We've got the Underworld coming out. Straight after that is the Devil card. Like, it's quite clear that this is going to take a lot of effort. Do not stress yourself out about it. I can see people trying to concentrate when they have like a lot of stuff going on or anything like that, and they can't do it, and they're getting sad and upset with themselves. This is not what the reading is really about. It's not to force you or push you into stress, right? This is just like, hey, you want these things, you kind of you know, the more you understand about why you want and need and feel these things, the better you can adjust yourself to align with them and be with them. Because at the moment it feels like the separation, right? This literal, I'm kind of disconnected from my body, disconnected from my soul, disconnected from my higher self. One of those things, all of those things, a mixture. My emotions. This is just getting, like, the whole point of this is to get back to who you really are, what's really important to you. There's no point being a fantastic doctor if you hate being a doctor, right? Even though everyone would say, wow, this is such a good person, they're doing this, they're helping, right? And other people, the accolades from other people is not really going to help the internal kind of satisfaction within yourself. Okay. Such a funny song. This is called Stacy's Mom. It's like Stacy's mom's got it going on, which is kind of like a teenage kind of like looking up at an older woman, I guess. Anyway, it's just kind of come through. Yeah. Through the devil, you become the emperor. I really like that for you. You find the stability. You realize that the things you're worrying about or focusing on were never in your control. What was always in your control was always in your hands. And that's where the key is to this whole message. Look at that, balancing the light and the shadow, no longer feeling like the underworld is the devil's realm, the higher world is the angelic realm, right? Or if you want to put it, it's like the evil stuff is below and the higher stuff is perfect. It's not quite right. There's like a purpose for the lower realm being there and bringing in that chaotic energy and that kind of like craziness, right? The expansiveness of like what's possible in ways that we may not always enjoy or want, but there's always learnings and growth within there. So while we don't want to sit in there forever so we don't go crazy, right? It's the same vice versa there. It's not all perfect. It may be very structured sometimes and very rigid, but then all that learning and what's happening down on earth, down even at the lower realms, kind of like teaches and has opportunities to shift some of the structures, to shift some of those things that were seen as always constant. Even if it's just in a small way, it helps with new perspectives and growth. So yeah, I guess that's really where it's coming to for you, right? You've got 3 majors too. This is a big project. I would say this reading you may want to come back to, probably won't, but if you do, that's fine. Like, I mean, if you don't, that's fine. If you do, it's fine. It's not, I'm not telling you what to do, but it's like, this is a big thing, so it might be ongoing, right? So you might want to come back to this when you need to. You might want to bookmark it or copy the reading from the time that you want to watch it from, and then just like store it on a notepad or whatever. Okay, I'm going to pull a few more cards just to wrap this up. I just want to say your perceived weaknesses sometimes are actually your biggest opportunities for inspiration and creativity. It can be challenging in a world that doesn't see that, but it's not about the world seeing it, it's about you seeing it. This is really all about your you-ness, not what anyone else thinks or feels. Just want to pull, what am I pulling cards for? I guess to wrap this up. So we'll just wrap it up and see what your team, guides, angels, whatever energy of source wants to say about this pure truth reading. Got the King of Cups. Yeah, you are like huge resonant vibrating energy, right? The King of Cups in its more traditional kind of like setting always makes me think of a emotionally mature person, someone who's reliable, loyal, and trustworthy. And going back to relationships, that's what you're looking for. That's here. But if that's not the case, and you're kind of on the other side of this reading, then it's really about understanding your vibration, understanding what vibrates and what it attracts. It's kind of like, you know how you can set intention for water, and some people will send hate into one water and then send love into the other, and then give the 2 glasses and ask people to try them, and they'll pick whichever one is probably most of the time, unless they overthink it, is the most tastiest, right? And that'll be generally the one with love in it, especially if you spend some time kind of really focusing intention. It's kind of like that. You get to see it. You get to see, and it's like, if you like, bitter people generally are bitter, right? To be around and not taste exactly, but you know what I mean? Like, probably taste. There's like that. It's like, do you want to be around that energy? Do you want to emanate that energy? This is really like a good time to check in with your resonance, your signature signal. That can always change. Just because your soul is set at like high frequency doesn't mean it can't be altered when it flies through the different dimensions and wavelengths, right? Especially around yourself. So this is just checking in with yourself, not judging, just checking in. So many majors. Par 1, honestly. Yeah, and it brings back, you talk about the illusion of control, then you become a co-creator with the energy of what you're resonating at, with what you can create, and getting what you want out of this life by understanding how it works. So you're almost doing, almost writing like a PhD thesis, right? Or something like that on your own life and on your own kind of like energy. And that's what it's about. It's understanding your own energy. Don't worry about what's happening in the external world. As so much, right? For entertainment, fun, and all that kind of purposes, go ham. But this is really about understanding your own energy. And that's what powerful creators have to learn over time, right? They have to learn that the things that they create really come from their energy and focus at that moment in time. So if it looks dark, then try to understand why. I think I'm going to leave that there. There's a lot of cards coming through. I'm glad I picked the little tarot cards because I wasn't going to fit enough otherwise. But yeah, there's a lot here. Maybe come back to this if you feel like it. If you stayed for the whole time. But yeah, maybe even an amethyst might help you with this, because this is like a guiding light, but also a strong protection. And that's what was holding up here, the strong protection. The psychic energy isn't like attacks targeted at you, right? It's just like the energy of like what's around. It's kind of like when people go into crowds and they feel overwhelmed. It's not like they've been attacked. It's just the energy of everyone that's around them, right? So this might even just help you feel more at peace and connected with yourself, because when you're connected with yourself, nothing can really come through. When you're separate and trying to like split yourself into many different types of beings and people and like pleasing kind of different things, then it's harder to feel protected because you're so separate from yourself. Okay, I'm gonna leave that there. Thank you very much for letting me read for you today, Pile 1. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time. Hello, hello. Welcome to your message today, pile number 2. So you've chosen the blue lights Agate with kindness, good communication, peaceful outcomes, love and marriage. So interesting. This is a message from pure or of pure truth, right? Pure truth. Let's see, which cards do I want this one? Alright, I'm not getting too much from the blue lights Agate besides this one is probably going to really touch on your essence, I feel. Like this is almost like the pureness within you. And I feel getting back into that and what that means. Makes sense. With this card coming through, this is minimize guilt. Yeah, this is being a lot kinder with yourself. I feel we do so many things in this one lifetime, right? Imagine what our higher self feels like. Imagine what our higher self feels like with regards to the amount of lives lived, right? And the amount of like different challenges that have been overcome, the different times where we were horrible to people or difficult. The amount of times that we were loving and caring, like it's probably a lot, right? And even in this one lifetime, we can go through many different things where we feel, you know, abused or we're abusive, right? Or like we're hated or like we're loved, you know, all these kind of things already just in this one lifetime, which hasn't finished. So it's really like, it's just, I think it's like taking a deep breath and just being like, okay, what am I doing now? Am I hurting people now? Am I being kind to myself now? Am I hurting myself now? Right? When did that happen? Long time ago, right? Or, you know, whatever it was. Am I still in that? No. So, you know, be kind to yourself, basically. This minimized guilt is like, you don't have to feel like you owe anyone anything. Period. I think that's it. Like, yeah, that's it. Period. Oops. Reimagine, it says, define who you are, create who you want to be. This is so, I love that the cards like are literally listening to this, like, you know what I mean? Sometimes it feels like, you know, you're going through the cards and it's like making sense, but this is just so clear. I was like, this is reimagine. It says, define who you are. You are the definition of who you are. If you're not who you were, right? You've grown and changed. And if you've been through something difficult, grow and learn from it, grow beyond it. Do what you need to do to process, deal with it, etc., etc., etc. But you are able to do this. You're not who you were. You don't have to feel so heavy against yourself. You deserve good things, but you have to tell yourself that, right? I could say that many times and you'd be like, oh, that's nice, but that's not true. You know what I mean? Like it's it has to come from you. That's more important. Like you are important, right? That's how this is coming through. The truth is you're important, basically. You're a powerful person who can create and reshape things. Forgiveness, right next to guilt. Release guilt. It says release resentment, to regain balance. Right, look at these cards too, they're so similar, right? This angel wing kind of like heart flower rose with like this almost like DNA upgrade here with this DNA helix. Like there might be light codes, but you decide what the light codes do. It's kind of like if someone gave me a scalpel and we're like, okay, you do the surgery, and it's like, I don't know how to do surgery, right? So what am I going to do? Well, I have to do it. I don't have to do it today. It needs to be just like kind of like gained and learned. So I really want to get this, I don't know, thing corrected or changed within me. Let's just say, I don't like saying corrected, it's probably not the best word, but something that I want to transform. So I better go out and learn how to do the surgery specifically, right? Do I need to get all the other stuff? Probably not, but I need to know at least how to do this. So I can get it done in a safe way with safe people, that kind of stuff. Kind of a crazy analogy or example, but that's kind of where it's coming from. It's like you're able to make those shifts and changes, even if this just translates to, I'm too old to do this. I'm too, whatever. This is more of a male-dominated area of the world. I can't do this, or this is a female-dominated world. I can't do this because I'm not female, right? Or I'm not a male, whatever, you know, whichever flip-flop, whatever. It's kind of getting that out of the mind and being like, do you resonate with that though? Is that kind of like something you want to achieve or do, or someone who you want to be or emulate in your own unique sense of doing it, right? There can be a lot of artists, but everyone has their own unique flair of like mediums, of kind of different tools, of different ways of thinking, kind of different subjects they focus on. Sometimes it's people, sometimes it's plants, sometimes it's abstract, you know, whatever. It's like there's so much out there, so you're allowed to put in your own, you know, 2 cents into this, and you're not too old, you're not too anything. You can do it. Okay. But forgiveness will be, you know, it's kind of like a long journey. But where you're at, it feels like this is a good time to let go of these small things, these niggling things that pop up. Right now, you might even think, I don't know what that would be. But if you look back, there's probably like little times where you didn't do something because you didn't believe in yourself. You didn't try this because it was like maybe not for you, right? Because of whatever reason you've got. Yeah, I guess this is just really to empower you. This message is really to empower you of your own God energy. Okay. Interesting with the commitment card reversed. It kind of doesn't feel too reversed. It feels like maybe here, but I'm going to keep it reversed. Just want to see what else comes out of this particular deck. Yeah, making a choice. Like I said, you're able to do this, but no one can give you the option or the path ahead beside like the allowance to do something besides you. You might be waiting for this, that, or the other. This is up to you, and it's going to lead to something that you'll actually enjoy. But there's like this kind of like, I don't feel like you're lacking commitment. It's more like there's a lack of belief which is blocking the commitment to trust and believe in yourself, right? If this isn't you and you're watching this and you're like, this doesn't resonate at all, I just want to say, take this as like someone in your life, if that really helps to digest this reading. I mean, it's a really nice reading. It's really like, you're the power, you're the God energy source of whatever, you know, you're the fractal of that truth, which is all. So, you know, believe that and trust that within you. Okay, I'm going to take, nope, I'm not going to take these 3. I want to take this one and this one. Okay, they're all falling. Okay, I want to take this one then as well. I don't know if I have enough space for all these cards, but we're going to try. Making a choice, right? Making a choice to be the best you for you. I know a lot of people will say, you need to be like a good person for these people or this one, and I feel like that's true, right? Especially if you have children or something like that. I'm not saying you know, just focus on you. But like, if you're good, you're going to be better for them, basically. If you're healed, healthy, and in a good frame of mind, then you're going to be so good for whoever else is around, or for getting the things you want, right? Maybe even finding the relationship if you're single, finding the belief in yourself to attract someone that is worthy of your light, right? Of your love and light. Worthiness is probably not the best word, but hope that makes sense either way. Okay. So you've got the heart. Look at this. It's so sweet. Like, it's so sweet. You deserve good things. The seed and the heart. It's kind of like, it almost looks like a little egg, and this looks like one of those bowerbirds, I think they're called, the ones that make the nest like hanging, so the snakes or whatever can't really get in. The threshold, yeah, you have to cross the line. You're the one that plants the seeds. This all is coming from you, not from like anyone else. This is all coming from you. You're the one who creates this. You don't need permission from anyone else other than yourself. You don't need the love and belief from anyone else other than yourself. Of course, it's great when you have that, but you know, to get there, it feels like you have to do this as well. You have to be an active participant in reimagining and recreating your own like world, which is really just tapping into the truth that was always in there. So you're not being anyone else other than yourself. You're being more of yourself, basically. You've got Mars with competition, action, and power. This is where I was saying you do this, right? The action energy coming through. And I'm pretty sure Mars is in Cancer at the moment. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's like nearing Cancer, which is kind of like love, right? Cancer kind of touches on the heart, love, relationship, that kind of thing. And Mars is like that fire and passion. So there's like a lot of like fire energy being pushed into the heart. And then we've got water, refreshing, mysterious, and fluid. Look, the reason why the water's coming through, I feel like it kind of links in with the threshold, kind of like crossing that threshold, which is sometimes like a body of water, right? Like crossing over the fresh threshold. I don't know if that's actually true, but something about that is popping into my mind. Even though we're talking about Cancer, right? The water, this is like fire and ice, kind of like that polarity being confined or moved into one. And that could show through in many different ways. Could be like the anger and the hatred you have for someone who hurt you in the past, right? And the forgiveness, the water of doing that, that's a hard path to go down, but that's where true kind of fulfillment is. And it's not to forgive them, it's to forgive, kind of like, not even forgive, it's almost like to choose to no longer hold on to resentment, anger, and pain, and find a path forward, because no one else can give you that truth besides yourself. Even if they came, like, imagine if everyone came back lined up and said to you, sorry for this, and this. This may help, but that's not going to heal it, right? It doesn't just fix things. It can't fix all those things, especially with the pain, especially with like the point and then the holding onto it for 20 years or something like that. It doesn't fix things. So that's why it's an active agreement to you and within yourself to move forward. But you have the whole possibility and the light, like the literal hearts, to be able to do this. To set this truth in motion. Yeah, you're the creator. You're the creator. Queen Cup's not a creator, right? But like you're actually a lighter-hearted, like caring person. If you weren't, you wouldn't give a shit about this. You would never feel guilty for certain things. You'd never like cross lines, right? Because someone who doesn't care about, like, who really isn't like kind-hearted or loving, doesn't care if they cross lines, doesn't care if they hurt people, doesn't really feel guilt, because what would they feel guilty about? Something that is within their right? That feels like, well, this person is just a piece of property or something. So if I hurt them, it's kind of like me throwing out the trash. Like, why would I feel guilty about that? And if we put it in those terms to like decent people, right? Do we feel guilty when we throw out rubbish? No. This one just flipped up, so I'm going to take it. You've got judgment. Very soulful, right? Very soulful energy. I feel like you'll start to connect more with your higher self for sure, especially with the mysterious and fluid right here, and this kind of like soul aspect being free. It's kind of, it doesn't really kind of, but it gets into the point of saying like you are so much more than your experience in this one place, one planet, one lifetime, one moment. There's so much more of who you are, and this process will help you remember who you really are, who you truly are, like the truth of who you are. King of Swords coming through. Really nice energy here. I don't know if he's like a supporter or what. Could be you getting into like mental stability, right? Having command over your thoughts and feelings and not being puppeteered by them. Kind of like, well, I did this, I have to pull this lever, and it's like blinded by it, right? Like she's got her angel wings, but she's forgotten that she's an angel, right? She's forgotten her light. Oh, okay. So this is just the last little couple of cards to just wrap up this reading. You've got the Five of Pentacles and the King of Wands. It's kind of quite polarizing, right? And I think that's the whole point. The Five of Wands, the one who can't move on from where they are, even if a key and a lock is right in front of them. And then the person who decides to fly their freak flag or like be who they truly are unapologetically and start to move forward in directions that are going to be helpful and creative for themselves. So you kind of like have paths to pick, which is pretty obvious, like which one your guides want, right? Obviously they want you to take this, not this. But if you have to go through this and process this out to get here, that's better than just sitting here for, 20, 30 years or the rest of your life. Okay, I believe that is all for you. Remember, reimagine, define who you are, create who you want to be, and forgiveness, release resentment to regain balance. The balance is within yourself, not in the world. The world is going to have a lot of kind of like injustices, right? Things that don't match up, things that people get quick wins on and that kind of thing. This is about feeling and having that complete balance that's within yourself, because no one controls what's within you. And if that's been given away, then that's where it needs to be looked at and regained your own sovereignty over self. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. Thank you very much for letting me read for you today, pile number 2. I hope this has really helped. Take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next reading. Welcome, pile number 3. Last pile, Labradorite. So, for some reason, straight away I was getting, you're the little weirdos of the world. But it sounds so judgy. But I mean it in like the most heartfelt way, right? You've come here to do a particular purpose, to clear some stuff, to do whatever you're meant to do here. And I'm guessing you're in, you're out, and that's it. May not be for everyone, right? But that's kind of like the thing, kind of like starseed energy. But you've picked this one and you've got shamanic journeying, brave, magical power, and higher awareness. It's almost like being able to see the light even when you go through very challenging things, which is really cool. But I'm guessing most beings will have, well, most people will have like something to say to their teen selves when they pass and be like, don't let me do this again, please. Just some of the stuff. But by going through your healing journey or your shamanic journeying, you actually radiate that energy out for other people to see that that's possible. There is a way over difficult and challenges. So the more shit you go through, the better you help people. And I'm guessing you thought, oh yeah, I'll go through lots of stuff. either very early on or even just continuously throughout life, right? That doesn't mean that's going to be your destiny and your truth forever, but it is like just something that's coming through. So interesting. Straight away, before I've even pulled any cards, it gives you so much like it gives you so much like power and blessing, I want to say. Could be even like a superhuman soul. All right, let's have a look. So you've got ennoble your soul. Yeah, I mean, this is the whole point. It's almost like this reading is to remind you who you truly are at a soul level. By going through the challenges, by being like someone else's like issue, right? And they your issue, or like vice versa. Like, you know, when you talk to an ex of someone, they're going to say all the horrible things about the other. You speak to the other one, they're going to say all the horrible things. And all may be true on both sides. But we like to play like innocent and the victim, right? And then we criticize ourselves later. We're kind of nutty. And you're probably here thinking, yeah, being human is insane. So yeah, well, you know, that's just kind of how it is. But ennobling your soul, I don't feel like you're not. I just feel like this is going to be a reminder that everything you kind of go through will lead to something that's not just better, but it's actually like universally or collectively really helpful. Even if you never tell anyone or talk about it, you may do, but because you'll know when that's the right time to do that. It's funny because the song is like, "Look What You've Done." That's the name of the song by Jet. I think it's no, I don't know the band, actually. It may not be. But anyway, look what you've done. It's kind of like, you created this, right? We're not going to, I guess, argue semantics or anything about this. It's just like, this is what's being created. This is what's in your reality. Now, how do you heal through this and journey through this and get to a point of acceptance and freedom, right? Because that's the whole point of the devil and the angels, the challenge of the devil energy and the hope and kind of like release of the light. By shining light on the darkness, you get to see the darkness, you know, by even putting light into the darkness where you're walking around with just a candle. It's like that faith and belief that things will get better in time and nothing stays stagnant forever. So it is true that things will improve or change at the bare minimum. You've got integrity, which is loyalty to innermost truth. This is a message of truth. You know, this is kind of like, you already know what's pretty much going on in your soul. It's almost like awakening, fighting your soul's purpose sometimes, you know, those kind of things. It's not like you might be doing it consciously. You might even be doing it subconsciously. There might be like the issues and stuff with your higher self and the higher realms. Who freaking knows? But this is just like, I know what's true with me. I know what's true for myself. I know where I'm going. I need to always remember to click back into that. Have a good relationship with my soul. You know, the ever-present, everlasting aspect of you that is eternal, right? That's just really where it's getting back to. Not all the kind of like drama of the human world, the drama of stuff that's in our past and the worry about the future. It's about the now. It's about what is important now. Of course, secrets. It says a relentless push to freedom. I literally said freedom before. I mean, that's the whole point. It's like the truth will set you free, right? You've literally got the ultimate reading, I feel. That's why I'm like, you guys are the weirdos for picking this one. But, you know, you were drawn to it because Labradorite's pretty. It's interesting. This is Florence and the Machines, and the song is called The Dog Days Are Over. And, you know, not focusing too much on dogs or anything, but just like, I think the dog days is just normally feeling like treated like rubbish, right? the bullshit part of your life, or the challenges, is done. That doesn't mean the feelings and the stuff we carry isn't done, but the actions, the challenges, like the hardships, are done. I would say you've overcome the most difficult part of life, and now it's the processing, the kind of like paperwork of it, you could say, the mental, emotional paperwork of it all. There is something here with this like secrets as well. I think this could be like, I'm just going to say this, and if it resonates, it resonates. If it triggers you, then that may be a reason, but like I feel like your higher self is holding something back, or is like not giving you all the clear information, right? And if you're like, I knew it, then that, but if you get triggered by it, it could be like, there could be a reason behind that, right? So maybe your higher self isn't. I just wanted to put that out there, because I think once we kind of like call even higher aspects of ourselves out or into the light, then it gets shone on. Your guides probably look at it, the higher self can't really hide it, and then it starts to get processed. Our higher self has the best interest for us as well, right? But it also has a job of overviewing or seeing all lives that have come and gone. So they're not doing it to harm you or hide things from you. It's just like sometimes our higher self wants to not process or relive something as well. Like we don't want to talk about hard stuff that we go through. They don't really want to look at hard things, but if it's impacting this life, it's going to be such a big release and such a big like breath of fresh air if it's looked at. But it's up to you, and I'm just putting that out there, so you know, take it or leave it. But the truth will set you free. That's for you as a human and your higher self. And you know what, if any of your past lives are watching, like all you too. Okay, flying. I don't know why I'm laughing, but it's just like, I think because I like kind of like talked about the higher self, it's like, I'm out of here. Yeah, I mean, look, that's fine. But flying in reverse talks about like, you know, cruise control, and the flying is kind of like trying to push or rush this. There's no rush. You can't rush shamanic healing journeys. You can't rush healing. You can't rush life, really. I always say you can't speed run life, right? You know how gamers will try to speed run a particular game. They're not really there trying to enjoy the game. They're there to do a job. It's kind of like running races, right? They're not running to enjoy it. They're running to get from here to here the quickest as possible. That's it. This isn't leisurely. It's not a fun thing. So if you are trying to push things into like getting quicker and quicker before the time's right, I think this is just a reminder that like it's not all, it doesn't need to be pushed, it doesn't need to be forced. It's here. You're also here on Earth to enjoy what Earth has to offer, the feelings, the textures, the tastes. I think the music is actually quite a big thing here too, which is funny because I'm literally listening to music, and the song playing is Lily Allen's The Fear. Oh, it's interesting. The Golden Palace reversed. The Golden Palace is like riches. It's like gaining to a position of like the Ten of Pentacles, which kind of feels like financial security, family, having everything you need, right? And so if you're not there, you're still working towards that, but like it's in your destiny, so to speak, right? You know, the old kind of like crystal ball, it's like it's within your destiny. It's like almost like very much like that. It's there, it's possible, it can be taken. And that security is like, doesn't have to be like billions and billions of dollars, let's say, or like 50 wives or something, you know, it's not like that. It's just like, it's enough and feeling like you have enough and that you are enough and that you can support the people you love, that you can support yourself, you take care of yourself, you have like a good balanced life. That's how this feels. And it's like, this is all possible there for you, but you cannot speed run to get there. That's not the point. I feel like I'm talking to someone who already knows this. Like, they're all like, yeah, I already know this. And it's like, well, sometimes you need a reminder. Because otherwise you end up getting into like ego, right? Because it's like, well, I'm going to play up because why not? Yeah, that's what I said. You freaking star seeds. Got the starborn. Told you. That's why you're the little weirdos of the world. That's why you don't always feel like you fit in, right? Because you're not here to fit in. You're here to kind of like teach these people a lesson type thing, or like show them that there's a different path, a nicer path, a caring, more loving, supportive path to growth. Oh, I like that, the village. Oh, for some reason it feels like homesick. I can completely understand that. I went through, like, this is just like a personal like kind of thing that happened, but I went to like this event with lights, right? And there was this part where it was like you're walking through an archway and it was lighting up with all these colors, and there was this music, and then next to it was this fountain with like this angel, and it made me think of like when you cross over. Not that I've obviously done that, I'm here, but like, you know, I guess it's like the remembrance of it, and it got me really emotional. Because the music was like very ethereal, I guess. The waterfall, the angel kind of like finally crossing over and coming home. That might be where this is coming through with the homesick idea. And it's just like getting back to like truth. Even as a person, like just in the human world, you might be even looking at taking a trip back to family, or like finding your own home. Then there's another message. Like, I know there's 50 million messages in this, but it's an open reading, right? But the village, like, it takes the village, right? You know how that is kind of true. Maybe you're carving out your okay, I'm trying to take a breath. Maybe you're carving out your slice of heaven on earth, your slice of wherever you came from on earth, wherever your soul kind of like sets its resonance to naturally. And this is like a whole kettle of fish, right? On earth, different kettle of fish. I don't know if that's the right saying, but anyway. Oh goodness. You've got Agate too. I'm gonna have to quickly read this one. I remembered it because it comes out so much recently, but I keep forgetting. So I think there's just like something in here. It's a tiny little book, so I'm gonna be not the best at reading it. What is it? LXX72? XX? Yeah. Oh, it's interesting because the song playing is Joan Osborne's One of Us, you know, if God was one of us. So it's literally like coming through with this card. This is devotion, unconditional love. And I was talking about going back home through that like light portal type thing. And there was just like, you got to feel, well, when I was walking through it, I got to feel like some kind of essence of what that's like. It was like maybe like 1%, but even 1% of bliss is still better than 0% of bliss, right? So it's really interesting. But it says here, when in light, it says service, reverence, honor, joy. And when in darkness, spiritual bypassing, righteousness. This is what I was talking about with potentially your higher self. Don't bypass anything. You don't need to bypass or miss something that is going to help you and your incarnations, right? It's just like a message. And for your human self, or like who you are watching this as you sit there, this is just like a reminder of you're doing your work. You're fulfilling your contractual service agreements, that whatever you've created before you've come here, right now, you don't have to be anything more than you. That's why it's like integrity, right? Do the things that are really actually right for you and for others. You know what they are. You're already like advanced, right? Even though we get downgraded, it's kind of like putting an AI into a paper bag, right? It takes a bit of adjusting to, but you're still that superior kind of like, not to, superior as in better than, because if you get into that, that's when ego takes over and you go on a journey of like getting smacked down by pretty much your own energy, right? Or God, source, whatever. But yeah, anywho. Okay, this one just flew out. You've got Neptune, mysticism, spirituality, and escapism. Yeah, you don't want to escape. You don't want to like get caught up in it, but you are here to live A spiritual life, even if you don't feel like you already are, because you're a spiritual being. Therefore, if you're living, that's a spiritual life, basically. But obviously you're here to do look into like modalities and methods and healings and all sorts of different things that really resonate with you. You might even end up writing things, author of something, creating artwork or like pictures, or just like doing something like this, right? Where you're sharing your wisdom and knowledge. So yeah, it's actually quite beautiful the way it's coming through. But you don't want to get it into a point where it's overused, where it becomes a place to escape so you don't have to deal with other things in life. You've got sextile, harmony, ease, and compatibility. I really like this with you. I would, if I was you, I'd probably have like a really nice little conversation with your higher self about some things. I don't know what, just whatever comes to mind. You might even want to just go, tell me something. Like, you know what I mean? What's the message, and do some automatic writing. I haven't done automatic writing myself for a while, but maybe that's what you want to do. I feel like whoever I'm talking to with this pile, it feels like a friend, or like this is kinship, right? We have like, not that I have whatever you have and, you know, vice versa, but it's just like, it almost feels like understanding each other's kind of pain without going through it or even knowing what it is. It's kind of like you understand what it's like to not really feel like you belong here, but we're both here, right? We're both, so we can kind of like automatically get it. It's kind of like when two people dating that have come from the same city, right? They might both have lived in, I don't know, Beijing, and now they're in New York and they both meet. They automatically have something in common. They have the language, they have like some of the similar culture if they've come from the same like district or something, right? So it's kind of like we have that preset. And that may be a sign to like find those people too, where you can feel really eased, even if it's just to talk about dumb shit, like just gossip, or just like have some tea and chat and talk about whatever. Could be a good vibe for you. Whoop whoop. I've got Vesta, inner spark, sacrifice, and devotion. Yeah, you're not here to sacrifice yourself. The devotion is towards yourself, not to anything external from yourself. If you've been looking externally for like truth and freedom, right? That's an action that's done within, but the external is there to be utilized and worked with, rather than the thing that does what you are looking for in life, and the fulfillment that you'll get. It's like a mixture of both, but the idea comes from within, comes from like the, woo, that card flew out. The strong feminine energy within. Here we go, stability. Oops, I think I smashed these around, sorry about that. Wasn't paying attention, I was just talking. So you've got the 10 of Pentacles coming through, love that for you. Really nice. I mean, this is the whole point. You can have fulfillment and success in this life. Like, that's your kind of like goal, right? The truth. Even if you've gone through many different challenges and hardships. They're not saying that hasn't been done, but like, remember it's done, like it's the past. That's all. I love this idea of loyalty to your innermost truth. It's such a nice way of putting it. You've got the Two of Swords. I would just say take your time with this. Don't get kind of pulled by anything external, right? These are crows harassing her. Excuse me. She doesn't need to stand around and be there. She could just take the blindfold off, shoo the birds away, and go on her own path. She doesn't need to be pulled by either, to be honest. Sometimes it's like two paths. There's heaps of paths. There's not just two. It's just the illusion of two paths. Yeah, go your own way. You've got this next to Vesta, the inner spark. This is like creative ideas, right? Like, who would have thought to grab the light bulbs and fly over this like little piece of string? I mean, no one would, right? Because in our reality, light bulbs don't do that. We don't just grab light bulbs, swing them around and fly. But she's doing it, and it's very clear that she is. So you're definitely here to bring in your own flavor from wherever you've come from. And while you might think richness is like more and more and more of something, it's actually this, right? It's a reminder that it's the Ten of Pentacles. It's the satisfaction, the peace, the security of being enough, having enough, and knowing that you're more than just this one incarnation. Try to hide from me. All right, so just wrapping up the reading, you've got the Queen of Cups. This is like the most kind of like loving, heartfelt, caring. Again, don't sacrifice yourself. Sometimes the Queen of Cups does to support others. Find a good balance with that. You're allowed to be of service, of course, but just notice when you're like getting caught up with like, oh, I need this, I need you, I need this, I need this, I need this. It's like, you need yourself too. You don't need to be always looking after other people. Sometimes the best thing to teach them is how to look after themselves, right? Four of Cups. Interesting. It's quite a difference, right? Still emotional, still like cup energy, still mystical with the Neptune, still kind of like very spiritual, very clued in to who they truly are, or like some aspects of who you are. But the Four of Cups is kind of a card of like, I think the disgust is like the word, but it doesn't really look disgusted. It just looks bored. It's kind of like, oh, I wish there was more to this life. I wish there was more here. And there is in the higher realms, right? We can kind of see that. And it's like, why can't we just have that here? But that's the whole point of playing a video game on hard mode, right? It just makes it harder but more fulfilling when we achieve the goals that we thought were impossible. And you've chosen very hard mode, hardcore mode even. So, you have like, you don't get to repeat and repeat and repeat in the same form. If you repeat, you lose the form. You have to like start again. There's no save files in this life. So, it's what you make of it. It's literally what you make of it. And if you are feeling like you're not really resonating with what's around you, then now is the good time to trust in your soul, trust in yourself, and move towards those specific goals. Okay, this has been a really, really, really long message. I really hope this resonates and helps you, because that's the whole point. If it doesn't, leave it for whoever comes next and they can pick it up and take whatever they need from it. But yeah, it does feel like you're a starseed, you're some kind of like being from another planet, right? Doesn't mean you're actually an alien in form. You're a human, 100% human. Your soul just may have been born somewhere else. And that's not to like scare you or be anything like that, but it's like, it's part of your soul. It's like that's just like the aspect of your soul and what it is. Makes you have like more of a broader view of what's possible. And so, trust in that, trust in your inner resolve, that creator or the inventor within you. That's really important. That's all I want to kind of say with that. Anywho, thank you so much for letting me read for you. Pile number 3 is a really nice message. Hopefully this message of pure truth has really helped you. But take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.